This is everything new in F1 25 patch 1.07 and the Podium Pass Season 2 Sprint Battle. Starting out, let's talk about that new content coming to the game with the Season 2 of the live service of the F1 game. If you've been playing the F1 games for the last couple of years, you'll be familiar with this new system of live service to the F1 games where every couple of months we get a new season of content inside of F1 World and the game in general. And with that comes some scenario events revolving around the real F1 sprint races we've had so far in the season. But right now, available from today, we have got F1 Elimination Mode returning to the game, slightly tweaked and hopefully improved. As it seems like EA and Codemasters have listened to the feedback because this new Elimination Mode has quicker races and new rewards. Having quickly checked out the mode myself, it seems like they've shortened the timer and also limited the lobby count. So now you'll be getting through each elimination a lot quicker and getting through to the next race. The problem always was just waiting around if you got eliminated. It didn't really encourage you to stick around for the entire race, whereas now you're not going to wait that long, so you may as well stay in the actual mode itself and then just refresh and go again after the race is over. Also, with the timer being shorter, it definitely felt a lot more high stakes and a lot more intense in terms of trying to keep it in the lobby and trying to get that win. Next up, this new season of Podium Pass comes bearing a gift, the McLaren Silverstone Google Chrome Livery. And if you want to get your hands on it, be warned, it is only going to be available to receive from July 30th to September 16th. After that, you cannot claim the gift anymore, and it's not available till then. But unlike previous times when they've done special liveries in the F1 games, once you claim this, it is yours to keep forever for the entirety of the game cycle. And unlike on previous F1 games where they've gifted IRL special liveries, this livery will be applied to the actual McLaren car with the McLaren chassis, not the generic and, you know, fairly ugly looking for what the livery is, F1 World car. And this will apply to other areas of the game. So you can apply this livery when you're playing Grand Prix mode or time trial. When selecting McLaren, you simply pick the variant of the livery you want. Or in career mode, if you head to driver details, customization, and livery select, obviously if you're driving for McLaren, you can select the special livery. I'm not too sure if it's also somehow available inside of My Team career mode. I really hoped it was, because that would be really great for console players playing My Team to have that choice. Maybe going into a brand new season, you can go through and select which livery to use for each team if we get to that point down the line in future months where there are multiple teams with multiple special liveries in the game. But it's just a case of every time the team and EA have to work together to actually implement it, sometimes the teams just don't bother even wanting to have the livery in the game. But McLaren, and surprisingly with Ferrari as well, have been very good about having special liveries in the F1 game. And of course this one, the McLaren Google Chrome Livery, was a pretty damn special one here in 2025, seeing Lando Norris take his home victory at the British Grand Prix in it. Before we get on to the other content available later in this season of this Podium Pass, I also want to point out that there is going to be a driver ratings update that is coming tomorrow. The details of that are coming tomorrow. If we look over at the driver chart, obviously, you know, myself and others will be hoping for drivers like Isaac Hadjar, Antonelli, Behrman, Bortoletto getting a bump. Maybe after recent performances, Nico Hulkenberg is due a bit of a bump up. And from the get-go, it was very obvious that Oscar Piastri needed a massive bump up compared to what he started off in the game. So let me know in the comments below, are there any specific drivers that I've not mentioned there that you want to see a bump up, or actually, if you're just a bit of a hater, want to have a downgrade? Getting back though to the content that will be coming later in this season of the Podium Pass on F1 25, we have the first sprint race revisit, China 2025. Lewis Hamilton's first victory in Ferrari Red came in the sprint race at the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix. In this special scenario race, repeat history by holding off the challenge from the cars behind to take the top step of the podium. That scenario will be going live July 25th and lasting till August 18th. And then we've got this second sprint race revisit, Miami 2025. Take the grid as Kimi Antonelli, the youngest driver to achieve a pole position in any race format. After taking pole, Kimi suffered a disrupted sprint race, but it's up to you to change history. In change manageable wet-dry conditions and give Kimi his first sprint victory. This goes live August 20th and lasts till September 17th. In both cases, completing this scenario with the gold standard, I suppose, or the highest target achieved, you will unlock some special liveries that you can only get by doing this scenario. And those then in turn can be used in My Team Career Mode or wherever you want in F1 World in multiplayer. And in general, this entire Season 2 Podium Pass is going from July 23rd and lasting till September the 16th, which is then obviously the same week will then go into Season 3. So that's the sort of live service content coming to F1 25 in the coming weeks and months. But now let's talk about the actual patch itself. Now, for those of you who've been following along with my Team Career Mode series, you would have heard the top line highlights of these patch because it did concern My Team Career Mode. But for those of you who have maybe not tuned in, haven't watched every single minute of the career series, let's talk you through the improvements. So patch 1.07, the highlights: increased cost of R&D upgrades for the player and AI to slow the speed of team progression in career modes. Obviously, it's been a big issue for a lot of people playing through. It seems like the rate to get to a maxed out car is pretty quick for the AI teams and yourself as well. Although, I do think they have bottlenecked it a little bit with the way the facility upgrade system works. I felt like on previous F1 games, it took less than 2 seasons to become a championship contender. Now it's maybe taking 3 seasons, but the caveat is, in that context, some of the AI teams are actually maxing themselves out within 2 seasons, which never used to happen. That only would happen in like a Season 3 at the end of it or into Season 4. Also, another big one, regulation changes in career modes will now affect more areas and can trigger later, making it harder for teams to fully adapt before the start of the new season. That was another big issue that was quite clear transitioning from new seasons. Now it'll come later, so there's less time to actually buy those things. And as we saw in my career mode, very strangely, I only got one little bit of the chassis and one little bit of the powertrain reset. Now, hopefully, it will be like the entire department, so it will actually be, you know, impossible for you to adapt everything, and that will go the same for the AI teams, and hopefully, we'll actually get some fluctuations, some proper fluctuations in the regulations and the R&D season to season. On top of that, career settings that affect resources and cash rates for both player and the AI now decrease the rates even further when set to reduced. Other more general things are smooth out bump in the track surface on the apex of the last turn at Spain, improvements to the pit release when pit assist is turned off to reduce instances of players waiting longer than necessary in the pit box after a stop, and they fixed an issue which would cause certain Breaking Point and F1 movie chapters to fail if pit assist was turned off. In terms of circuit improvements, there are fixes to a number of tie walls at the Belgium Grand Prix circuit, minor graphical improvements at Abu Dhabi, Azerbaijan and Belgium, and updating the time of day for various sessions at Bahrain and Qatar. In career, actually this is the first time I'm reading about it, there might be a fix now for the My Team Career Mode upgrades not being correctly behind the level for breakthrough facility upgrades. So that reads to me like some of the upgrades maybe that you and I have already purchased should have been behind Phase 4, and maybe some of the upgrades we got in Phase 3 were basically meant to be Phase 4 upgrades. So I don't know if there are actually any new upgrades added into the mode that just weren't like present. It seems just a case of where the yardstick was for getting those upgrades. So I'll kind of report back maybe in my next My Team episode about that and see what that actually means. There are also some other improvements to 2-player career with the ability to start without icon drivers being enabled, and an issue in 2-player career where immediately after ranked multiplayer, custom car setups would be unavailable. There are a bunch of other multiplayer fixes and also peripheral fixes. I'll link the patch notes down below if you want to read those. But in terms of, you know, the domain on this channel is just all single player stuff, and the extra content that kind of covers the main big talking points of patch 1.07. I will be making some videos pretty soon, actually checking out that extra content to come, so you don't have to perhaps, and also the elimination mode, because that's always a little bit of fun. But guys, if you have enjoyed this update on F1 25, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.